puppy? Yes. Oh, poor baby. Yeah. Hello everybody, welcome to Country Girl with Kathy Jarvis. And as you know, I have a lot of cats I take care of. Now, it wasn't always like this. I mean, we've always had cats. It's a farm, it's a homestead. You need cats around to keep down the mice and the snakes and stuff. But we got kind of low in number. And back in 2022, we ended up with just 2 females, as all the male cats took off into the woods and into the neighboring in the neighborhood. And so I was kind of concerned. Shouldn't have been. 2021, those 2 cats ended up being pregnant, and we had kittens. And we got Peaches and Butterscotch and Little Gray and Spike and Fluffy. Of course, we had other kittens, but being farm cats, being half feral cats, these were not really tame cats. They were barn cats, outside cats. So they lost a few of them. And as I said, they were barn cats and feral cats, basically. And so we let them go. And in the winter of 2021, the 2 little kittens, Fluffy and Spike, almost froze to death. They had new mothers that didn't know what to do. New mother didn't know what to do with them, and so we kind of brought them into the garage, and they become semi-house cats. They stay in the garage or they stay on the back porch. They don't get into the main house, but you know, they do get outside to play, and that's where the problem came in. But go on our problem of this weekend, but we'll get to that. Right now, we're talking about what I did with the population of cats, because in 2022, all those females had kittens, and we ended up with an overload of cats. And of course, I was being a little bit more careful with them, and I tamed them down a little bit, and most of the kittens survived. And we were at a creek. You know, what do we do with these many cats? And accidentally, I was talking to a friend of mine who I did not even remember at the time that she was involved with a rescue center. In fact, she owns it. And she said that she would help me get rid of the kittens. So we got rid of the kittens, and most of them. And she also helped me get the other cats, spayed and neutered. But the problem was I had to get them to the point where you could handle them. And that took a while. And of course, Fluffy and Spike were the first ones to be neutered because they had been in the garage all the time. They were very, very tame. And then, of course, Mitzi and Tabby. Tabby was pretty well, she was pretty old. She was about 6 years old. And she was pretty well through with this, you know, just love me, give me some food, you know. So she was easy. Mitzi, on the other hand, was not so easy. In fact, she's still hard to catch. So I had to work on getting the other ones tamed down. Now, the problem with getting cats tamed down is that they become dependent upon you, and they turn into little loving creatures that want to be around you all the time. So I now have, at that point, I had 5, 6, 7 lovable cats. Well, 6. Mitzi never really was a lovable cat. And still isn't. And we got those neutered. And there were 7 of them that got neutered. And then we ended up having a stray come. And this was a very lovable stray. One come in the house all the time. So he was easy to tame down and get to the vet and get him neutered. And so we had 12 cats at that point. And we did lose Tabby this summer. Actually, back in January. Not for sure what happened to her. We turned her out one morning and she never came back that night. Now, I do keep the cats in crates at night in the garage because of the coyote problem. Because we kind of suspected that she might have been attacked by a coyote. Since they were quite prevalent that night, we heard them howling just outside the door. So we keep the cats in crates at nighttime now. And we have another one that I'm working on trying to tame. And when he first came, must have been back in January or February, he was skittish, wouldn't come near you. You couldn't pet him. And now I'm working on getting crate trained. And I've got that to the point. And we'll be working on litter box training next. And so we can get him over to the vet. But the problem with a feral cat, once you tame them, they become your best buddy. Either that or they don't want to have anything to do with you. And he has become a best buddy. He wants to walk around with you all the time. Where Mitzi, no, I'll come in at night. I don't really want you touching me, but yeah, feed me, put me in the crate. But, I don't want to go in that crate. I don't want to be touched, but put the food in there and I'll go. And then you can pet me, but don't pick me up if you don't have to. She's not a lovable cat. And Little Gray, on the other hand, was a feral cat. She was born here, but she was a feral cat. She never would come as a kitten. And it took quite a while. She was, in fact, the last one to be tame enough to take over to the vet. And now she'll come in last just because she knows that she can be held and carried inside. And she eats it up. She loves that. But bringing us back to why this video is a day late and what's going on is that I trimmed their front claws because they are extremely friendly cats now and they want to climb up your leg and pet you and all this stuff, and those front claws get quite sharp. So I was doing that Friday and I noticed a lump on Spike, and I thought, I'm gonna have to watch this, and if it's still there by Monday, I'll end up calling the vet. Well, Saturday I went out to leave him out of the crate, and that lump had split open. And it wasn't oozing anything. It didn't have anything coming out of it. It was just looked like a cut. And it wasn't bleeding. So I put some ointment that I had from the vet that was good for wounds and sores. And the lump had developed a cut across the top of it. They had ruptured, in other words. And I was pretty sure it was an abscess because I couldn't really feel anything underneath of it. It was kind of tender and he didn't really want me messing around with it. So I put some medicine that I had for wounds for animals. And this is an important thing to remember. If you have animals at all, get in a good relationship with your vet. If the vet knows that you know what you're talking about, if he knows you've been through this before, you can sometimes just tell them what the problem is and they will give you medicine for them. And so that's the reason I had the medicine on hand for wounds and stuff, because I keep some on hand for basically little wounds. But I knew this wasn't a little wound, but I also knew that I could treat it until until I could get him into the vet. It wasn't bleeding. It wasn't having any liquid even oozing from it, hardly. Just a little bit. So I put the medicine on it on Saturday. And Sunday it looked a lot worse. It looked almost like an ulcer. And I could feel just a small little lump. So I didn't know for sure if it was an abscess or if it was a tumor. I was still leaning towards abscess, but back of my mind was thinking, oh, it possibly could be. But I did know two things. I knew that he needed antibiotics, which I couldn't give him. And I also knew that he needed a booster on his rabies shots, just in case it was an abscess. Because abscesses in cats are usually caused by another animal biting him. And since he is outdoors during the day, I wasn't for sure what could have bitten him. But I'm pretty sure it was his brother, because they're always grabbing each other in that area and playing. And I'm pretty sure his brother just clamped down a little too hard. Anyway, we got him into the vet Friday. And yes, it was an abscess that had burst. And he did need his rabies booster. And he needed antibiotics. So he's taken care of. I was told it could look a lot worse before it looks any better. And in fact, he said, don't be alarmed if you look at your cat in the next couple days and think there's a hole in my cat. He goes, but it should get well. And it's no problem. So I don't have to do anything else to the cat except keep him out inside where he's away from the dirt so he doesn't get it all dirty. I need to keep it clean. So that is where we're at. And basically, my whole point of this is to get on good terms with your vet. Know when your animal does need to be taken care of. Read up on it. Research. Know what needs to be done. Like I said, best thing of all is just to have a good relationship with your vet, because a lot of these antibiotics that you used to be able to buy at the different big box stores and stuff are soon going to be labeled for veterinarian use only. And that means that you have to have a prescription to get them. So if you're a vet and you are not on a good terms where he knows that you know what you're talking about and he knows that you know what you need, he's going to want to see the animal before he prescribes any medicine. And just for you to walk into the door with an animal to be looked at, it's going to cost you at least $50, at least, in that area. Maybe a little bit less, maybe a little bit more. But that's not accounting the medicine on top of that. So, like I said, get in good with your vet. Preferably more than one vet. Because you never know when your vet's not going to be available or when he's going to be out of town on vacation or something. So you need to be friendly with more than one vet. So hopefully you get some good information from this, and hopefully you will like, share, and subscribe. And remember, dream big, follow that dream. And I'm off to help put up the new greenhouse. So hopefully you have a good weekend. Bye, everybody. Dream big, follow that dream. Bye.